Calling to order the May 28, 2026 town work session for the town of Cheverly. I'm Mayor Micah Watson. Joining us is our Chief of Police and Deputy Chief of Police, our Town Clerk, our Assistant Public Works Director, and our Town Administrator and our Public Works Director are making their way upstairs. Let me call the roll for the elected council members. The council member from Ward 1.
Present.
Council member from Ward 2.
Here.
Ward 3.
Present.
Ward 4.
Present.
Ward 5. I don't have the meeting running yet. Are you joining online, Mr. Garces? All right, we'll come back to you. Ward 6.
Present.
All right, seeing 6 of the 7 elected officials for the town present, we have a quorum sufficient to conduct business, and the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council members, item 3 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. This is a town work session, so all of the items should be underlined, or I should say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are going to be open for public discussion, or public input, let's put it that way. We will, I think, assign time limits to the agenda items this evening. Does anyone have any advice on that from the council? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20? I'm going to say 15-minute time limit for each of the items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Council, any objection? Okay. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Dramatic entrance, Town Administrator. We're good with the agenda. Did you have any amendments to request, Mr. Galloway? No, sir. Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry. Is there a second? Councilmember Briner seconded. Is there any discussion of the motion to approve the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes 6-0. Mr. Garces' attendance should be recorded. He is here. Item 4 is the budget ordinance. This is the second reader of the budget ordinance. I will read briefly the ordinance itself. This will be adopted on third reader on June 11th. Budget ordinance 2006-1 for the 2027 fiscal year, an ordinance whereby the town of Cheverly adopts a budget for fiscal year 2027, which begins on July 1 and ends on June 30, 2027. This ordinance is uncodified, whereas Article 7, Section C23A of the Charter of the Town of Cheverly grants to the Mayor and Council the power to appropriate and expend funds for any purpose deemed to be public, and whereas each fiscal year of the town commences on July 1 and ends by the following June 30 pursuant to C32 of the Charter of the Town, and whereas the Mayor and Town Council have, prior to each fiscal year, adopted a budget to govern the appropriation and expenditure of funds for the next fiscal year, and whereas after numerous discussions and meetings, the Mayor and Town Council have prepared a budget for fiscal year 2027 containing anticipated revenues and proposed appropriations and expenditures for said fiscal year. And whereas said budget, as discussed at numerous public meetings by the Mayor and Council, is attached hereto as Exhibit A, now therefore be it ordained, etc. The ordinance will be considered read for the second time. Of course, the meat is in the details of the budget ordinance. Council, let me pull out my budget, and we will have a brief discussion followed by public input. When last we met, the budget was We were anticipating revenue in FY 2027 of 11,397,000 and expenditures of 11,537,000 for a deficit of $140,590. Council, let us start with the expenditures and ask if there's any revisions on second reader of the $11,537,000 worth of expenditures. Hearing none, we will move to the revenue side of the equation. Council, are there any revenue items that you would like to discuss? We are anticipating currently $11,397,000 in revenue. Okay. Hearing none, let's turn to the public then. With that as the frame, is there any public input on the second reader of the budget ordinance for 2027? Your name, your ward, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. First, Leila Riazi, Ward 1. I apologize in advance for not staying through the meeting. I'm really under the weather, but there was an item that was important enough that I just wanted to make an effort to show. So this is not about the overall budget. There are people here who can speak on that. I'm speaking about a specific item. I wasn't in attendance at the last meeting and learned that council is talking about proposing, I lost the microphone. It's back? Okay. I'm sorry, I also lost time. About an increase in the reservation fees for park space and pavilions. I heard maybe a figure of raising it to $200 per rental. And I'm just going to read what I wrote. I'm requesting that Mayor and Council please pull back the proposal to raise the park pavilion reservation fee from consideration in meeting your budget numbers. I understand you're exploring ways to bring the budget into line, and I appreciate the challenges you're facing. The places that families can gather for free or at low cost are rapidly disappearing, and we serve our community best by not furthering that trend. The current $50 park pavilion reservation fee keeps birthday parties and other family celebrations in our community within reasonable reach of more Cheverly families. It's fundamentally about community, and this is a community-affirming benefit of living here in Cheverly. The experiences in Cheverly, the photos of icing-covered smiles, family picnics, and organization potlucks form lasting memories directly connected to our physical community. As I understand, the town is not trying to make money off of our residents. Rather, the cost of public works of irresponsible use and cleanup of the park pavilion spaces is behind the proposed increase in reservation fees. Instead of increasing the reservation fee, I'm requesting that the town pursue a refundable deposit approach to a cleanup violation fee approach, and tie either approach to a restriction on future reservations following a repeat violation. I also ask that the town assess rentals over the next fiscal year to document violations and note patterns that can inform further conversation. Additionally, let's make sure that we actively invite Cheverly residents to the table so that we can all think through the solutions together. I have many details to add to structuring this approach and welcome sharing them at another appropriate time. For me, supporting families and friends and gathering to celebrate within our Cheverly community is the best kind of resident appreciation our town can offer. I briefly looked at the budget, and what I will tell you is the numbers support that, and the money to be recovered by Public Works and the downtrend in rentals of these spaces show that we should be promoting the use of these spaces and not outpricing people from these spaces. Not everybody has a home, a condition, or a possibility of holding these celebrations in their individual places that they live. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Is there other public input on the budget ordinance?
Good evening, I'm Elaine Johnson, resident of Ward 6. Over the past 3 weeks, you've heard resoundingly that homeowners do not support an increase in property taxes for the coming fiscal year. We received a proposed budget at the May 7th public hearing, which called for a 5 cents tax rate raise, omitting any substantive cuts, and in fact included new funding items. At the May 14th town meeting, officials voted for a 2-cent tax rate increase and promised to provide residents with an itemized proposal to include town priorities, cuts across all departments, and scaled to reflect a budget at 2 cents, 3 cents, and 4 cents. The mayor informed residents that a vote was required on the rate increase in order to move forward, and it could be voted down but not upward as the budget process continued. Neither the town administrator or town attorney or any council member advised him otherwise. Therefore, the public was totally caught off guard when it was announced at last week's meeting that the tax rate increase of 2 cents had already been submitted to the county. This budget cycle has been frustrated, replete with misinformation, disorganization, and lack of professionalism. Given that decisions are already determined prior to public comment, leaves residents believing this process is simply perfunctory. During a budget crisis, expenses have to be cut, must be cut. New projects put on hold, and needs versus wants prioritized. Substantive cuts have been identified. Please rescind the already submitted rate increase and go back and make the cuts. As a side note, Mr. Mayor, you indicated at last meeting that you would follow up with reference to whether or not that could happen, and I look forward to hearing your comment on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Is there other public comment on the budget ordinance? All right, hearing none, I would like to address the tax rate issue. Mr. Galloway, I may need to turn to you for the particulars, but we were informed by the county that we would need to report the real property tax rates by May 15th. So that is what we did. That is why we took the vote we took publicly in order to meet what we perceive to be the deadline. Now, I will say that the county requirement is confusing and somewhat internally contradictory. But Mr. Galloway, anything to add?
Yeah, I'll say this, statutorily, the tax rate is due to the state on June 20th. However, because the local county, which is Prince George's County, our jurisdiction, the county is the entity that make the actual tax bills. On the actual tax document, it indicated that our tax rate was due to Prince George's County. On the top of the page, it says due May 15th. At the bottom of the page, it gives 2 other dates. It states that no changes can be made no later than May 29th, and please return by May 16th. But at the very top of the page, it says due May 15th. And I stand solid by my recommendation to the mayor and council because that was the due date that the clerk and I were advised on by the county, and that's the recommendation that I made to the mayor and council, and I stand flat-foot on that. Over, Mayor.
All right, now I will say to the council, if you would like a different tax rate, we can adopt one and ask our town administrator and town attorney to try to force it through the county and the state. I don't know what their odds are, but they, well, we could certainly do that. We could do it on June 11th if you wanted to. I think our odds of succeeding are declining every day, but we can do that if you would like. So with regard to the real property tax rate, is there any motion from any council member for a rate other than, well, a rate other than the 60 and 103 that we've adopted? All right, I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so we have what we have. With regard to the fee schedule, I will go on record as saying I don't like the current pavilion rental fee. And I'm very happy to cast the fourth vote to bring down, which I understand is cutting into our revenue, which is not the direction we want to be going. But I'd be very happy to do that if there's any appetite on the council to do that. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, my understanding on the pavilion rentals and the fee rates is that that is not a baked-in part of the budget. So even once the budget passes, the fee schedule is something that we can, as a matter of policy, adjust at any point. So I agree with the mayor on that.
I believe you are right, Mr. Galloway. Does that sound right to you?
That is correct.
All right. So unless there's interest from the council in scratching out the rates that are in there now, Mr. Tanzi.
Sorry, got some feedback. I'll try to be quiet. I liked the proposal that was just shared of having a deposit. I don't know that we have to go through the details right now. Do we have a date of implementation set for the new fee structure? And if so, can we just push that back so we can add this to a future meeting?
No, I wouldn't recommend that. I recommend that the fee schedule start at the beginning of the fiscal year, which would be on July 1.
Okay.
That was the intended purpose of it from the creation of it.
Yeah, I think that's fine, and I agree with what has been said, that we can add that one item to an agenda and make sure we're coming in with fully formed opinions on it.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what the town administrator said. I totally agree that whatever fee rates hikes were done, that it will happen on July 1st, so there's no confusion regarding this particular issue.
Yeah, okay. Let us put the fee schedule, let us do that. And the reason I'm shuffling these papers is to find the September work session, and we will put on the September work session a discussion of the fee schedule. And that will give us a few months of data.
Just want to follow up, Joe.
Yes, go ahead.
And just correct me if I'm wrong, the fees that were introduced research was done in comparison to every surrounding area and finding what our neighbors have been done. We looked at, believe municipalities that are on the same level as us, as well as from the county level and other agencies. Is that correct?
Yeah, if I may, there was a significant amount of research done across all boards. Comparing it to staff time, the time that it takes for staff to set up, break down, participate, et cetera, with the fee schedule, along with other neighboring jurisdictions that are comparable to our size, and along with the county as well. We wanted to make sure that we were, at least competitive as it relates to fees. That is correct.
Right, and just to follow up on that is the fact that this, as we saw this year's budget, was definitely looked at in very sensitive matters of a tax increase. In many ways, it's not to make money, but as the town administrator said, as we also talked about our staff, the amount of work that they put in, the amazing work that they do, we want to make sure that based on the amount the time of work effort as well as the cost, that the fees are in alignment with that as well. My kids have used those as birthday parties. We look forward to in the future, but we have to be realistic, look in the future with the tough times as far as managing this budget going forward. I yield back.
All right, any Anything further on the fee schedule? David?
No, sorry.
Okay. Some other revenue?
It might count as revenue, so I think it works. It's money coming into the town, so we'll call that
Super.
revenue. Our District 5 council member, Shayla Adams Stafford, had an event this weekend that I attended with some other my colleagues up here. And one of the things she encouraged all municipalities to do is to apply, I'm not sure if it's the right term, but request project charges. And so I was looking through the line items, and the ones that jumped out to me were 600.150, the police community engagement. 535 has a bunch, including the youth board. And this is a little more of a stretch, but whether or not town engagement, which is newsletter, is listed as something like newsletter and communications or something like that, whether or not we could reach out to Councilmember Adam Stafford's staff to see if any of those might qualify for project charge funding.
I think there have already been determinations made for project charge for the upcoming fiscal year. And it's my understanding that we will be receiving $50,000 for youth sports. That's a lot in saying that. We need to sort out what that actually means so that we can apply accordingly. So we will be making that modification to the budget at the beginning of the fiscal year after we get more interpretation of it. Over.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, anything else on the second reading of the budget ordinance? Hearing none, let's go to item 5, the Ace Hardware introduction. Mr. Galloway.
Mayor and council in the town of Cheverly, I take great pleasure in introducing Miss Elaine Ulrich. And Elaine, if you can go ahead and approach the podium. Elaine will be the owner of the former Walgreens, which will be called Wax Wings Ace Hardware. So wanted to take a moment so that Elaine can introduce herself to the mayor and council and to the community. We've had a great relationship and working together thus far, and we're going to continue to. She has a lot of great things planned for this location. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Ms. Elaine.
Thank you. I wanted to extend my thanks to Mayor Watson, Administrator Galloway, and the rest of the council for inviting me to be here this evening. As Mr. Galloway said, my name is Elaine Ulrich. I am a local resident of Washington, D.C. I live in the Tacoma Brightwood neighborhood. I've been here since 2008. So almost 18 years now. My family is also located in DC. I have a son who's in middle school in the DC public school system. And as Mr. Galloway indicated, I am under contract to purchase the former Walgreens at 6498 Landover Road. And my intent is to open up an Ace Hardware store there. So I know not everyone is familiar with Ace Hardware. Some of the key things I want to get across about that is that all Ace Hardware stores are independently owned and operated. Ace is a co-op. It's a cooperative corporation, which means that all the shareholders are owner-operators. And so what that means is that as an independent retail establishment, I'm really here, and this hardware store will be here to serve the needs of the community. While Ace will be my primary wholesaler, I have a huge amount of flexibility to meet the needs of the community. And for those of you who are familiar with independent hardware stores, you will notice that many times they're almost like a general store, and they can offer any number of kinds of products and services. And again, our intent is to really work with the community to ensure that we are meeting your needs. A few sort of things that I wanted to let you know about the plans that I have for the store. Again, this is the former Walgreens on Landover Road. The main area within the retail space will be an Ace Hardware store. In the back, in the area where the pharmacy technicians area was located, our intent is to put in a cafe. And so that cafe, we will be partnering with a local roaster, a local bakery, and we will hopefully bring in some sandwiches and ice cream. So it's really intended to be a family-oriented, retail space and cafe. We will have interior seating, and then I know most of you are probably not as familiar with the building as I am now, but that building does have a second floor. It has an upper mezzanine, and in that mezzanine right now, there is currently storage space, restrooms, and like a crew room. I am going to subdivide that space and take what is currently all just sort of backroom storage and turn some of it into a workshop space. And so my intent there is for it to be a community workshop and crafting space that, again, folks can come in, they can grab a cup of coffee, something to eat, and then they can go upstairs, work on their projects. We intend to hold community programming, whether it's on home improvement and home maintenance, things like kids crafts, gardening workshops and seasonal items that projects that people can work on. And we are really hoping that we can also bring in lots of community organizations for any programming they would like to provide. So again, it's intended to be really a space that serves the community in beyond just as a retail hardware store. I guess in addition to that, I just want to say, as the future owner of this store, I'm very committed to the Cheverly community. I'm making significant personal investment. Again, going into the building, bringing the business. I don't think you guys have to worry about 3 years from now me saying to myself something like, this would be a lot easier if this was just a Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm very committed to the hardware store. I come out of working in the federal government on community disaster recovery. I feel that local hardware stores are a really keystone part of building community resilience. They serve not just residents, but also small businesses and local organizations. And we will be creating many jobs both at the hardware store as well as enabling local businesses, whether they're contractors, property managers, painters, real estate folks, and hopefully also, the municipal, school, and health sectors here. So overall, I'm really, really excited to be joining the Cheverly community, and I look forward to, any questions you all have and to working with all of you to get this project launched and hopefully be seeing a lot more of everyone in this room in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Council, any questions working geographically from east to west? Councilmember Garces, let's shout out if you have a question. Let's go to Vice Mayor, since you live kind of across the street, and then Mr. Wade.
Okay.
You want to try mine?
Okay, I think I'm okay now. Hi, I'm Councilmember Briner. I represent Ward 3, which is the northeast corner of the single-family residence sort of section. So probably in terms of non-apartment residences, the closest walking distance to the Walgreens. And I'm so excited to hear about this. I do work in museums, and having a workshop and makerspace kind of thing sounds really exciting to me personally. But I was wondering, in this context, I would love to hear a little bit about either your progress or your plans to connect with the other local small businesses that are in those two strip malls, sort of across and across the other way. And like whether you've connected with them and how like you're planning to sort of engage with them, because I want to make sure that this bright, shiny new thing doesn't sort of overshadow the folks that are already there and have been doing really good work for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would love to get help in making connections with those other with the other businesses there. I know one of the things that I was talking to Mr. Galloway about is that I do have a recognition that the cafe portion of the store is potentially eligible for one of those highway signs on the Highway 50 from Maryland DOT that basically says this exit, and then usually it'll have if there's lodging or food options or gas. And right now, exit 3A off of the 50 does not have that. And so I would love to work with the other businesses to help highlight to all of that passing traffic the opportunities to come and bring business into the Cheverly corridor. And so that's one thing that I would love to see happen. And I'd also welcome the opportunity to work with folks on a little bit of a highway cleanup there at that exit. And so, yeah, no, I'm very eager, as I mentioned, to partner with other organizations. Anything that we can do. I'm really looking forward to building a relationship with those folks. If folks want to help with making introductions, again, I know I have a lot to learn from the folks who are already here, and again, very, very open to working with them.
Mr. Wade, before we go to the public.
Ms. Albrecht, is that correct? Albrecht?
Ulrich.
Ulbrich, welcome, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we are truly excited to bring in new economic development and businesses to the area. So thank you very much. We look forward to you succeeding and having a wonderful future here. I am huge on community engagement, so that would be my first suggestion. We have several organizations. I know a lot of things that you mentioned as far as youth. Several events where you can also engage with the residents. And you have some great ideas, but I would also suggest that you maybe attend the market. I actually have a Ward 1, shameless plug, but I have a Ward 1 Community Day in July. If you want a table for that, July 18th, we could talk more about that. My sons actually attend Home Depot's youth event on weekends where they learn how to build stuff. So I'm very familiar. I have a 9 and 6-year-old, so I'm very familiar with that. So, but just the aspect of getting the data, the information to the residents, so to see exactly what can best fit for them, because ultimately that's going to make you the most money. I know you're in the business of doing that, but I look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, I represent Ward 1. But we all, I think, here can say that we really want you to succeed and be an example of how more businesses can come to our particular area.
Thank you. And I will say that last fall, I did actually come to the Cheverly Community Market and did a customer discovery survey. And so I had put together a few questions, and I came out, I interviewed residents at the market, talked to them about the retail environment, how we could make the business accessible to them, understand again what are the things that they want to see in terms of retail categories. And so that has already informed our initial opening assortment, and I will be closely tracking again what it is that we're selling. And I had a great comment from another small business owner who said, if you have somebody come in, if you have 3 people come in and ask for something, you should carry it. And so I do want to also encourage folks and residents that if there are things that we don't have that they're looking for, to let us know.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Do you want to have a seat, and then we'll see if anyone on the audience would like to
Sure.
come up and speak about the proposal, or the more than a proposal, for the Walgreens hardware store. Your name, your ward, and you have 3 minutes.
Sean Patrick McGuire, Ward 2. Miss Albrook, welcome to the community. Thank you.
Yeah, address your comments to the chair.
And welcome to the community, Mayor and Council too. Okay, I guess you just bring it down. Well, welcome to the community. Yeah, bloody hell. It's input. There is a constitution, remember that. All right, I can't use 3 minutes. I have 5 ideas, but I will wait another time. As for the 2%, okay, well, it got passed. Let's just hope that the $188,000 doesn't get squandered, or disappear. I recommend strongly paying down the municipal bond as soon as possible and cutting the term in half. And assuming you can find $601,000 in savings a year and enact it by June 11th. One of 5 ideas. Oh, and don't forget to wall off $500,000 for capital improvement budget for 2030, so there's no surprise, oh, we need another $500,000. It's one of 5 ideas. So I'm just saying, let's make sure we got our counting so that all our businesses don't say, we're having problems. Why do you want to muddy the water because everything's great or just barely fine, I guess, economically? Let's not stress the economic base too much, the residents and the businesses. So I have 5 ideas. I'll ask Green Committee if I could submit to 5 ideas for the Green, 5 good important ideas, including purchasing 2 lots from, Gabriel? Hosa, basically 2 lots that are near, in that park near 7-Eleven. 2 lots, $5,000 each maybe, who knows, maybe $1,000. Could be a donation to an environmental group, but purchased by the town. I guess there was something about $10,000, but that was given as a grant, so it may fit the need and the reason and legally. And pay down your principal as soon as possible, so your interest you owe for a period of time is low as possible. So there's no, we need to raise taxes like Bowie, but we're not Bowie. We're a town of Cheverly. Bowie is like 10 times, 8 times bigger than Cheverly, higher revenue base. So anytime someone's, Bowie raised it 18%. We're not Bowie. It's not apples and apples revenue base, to use that example. We're not. We are 1/8, I guess, whatever. We are 1/10 the size, I guess, of Bowie. So remember that. So Bowie, well, that's nice. They raise property taxes 18%. Big whoop. And let's pressure the county to stop borrowing $175+ million a year.
All right, thank you.
And live by a budget. Thank you for your time.
Is there any other public input on the ACE hardware? Okay, hearing none, let us turn to the Community Development Block Grant. Mr. Brayman and Mr. Galloway. This is
Mayor
you.
and Council, the next 2 items, the CDBG and item number 6 and item number 7, low impact development center presentation and proposal. I'm going to kick to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Steve Brayman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Town of Cheverly. Before you is a vendor decision paper that Ms. Brown put together. We have $177,958 in community development block grant money. That is all federal money. We do not need to match this money. And we are directing this towards the resurfacing courts at Boyd Park. And so we received 4 quotes. We tried to go with cooperative purchasing, but they were not only more expensive, but they were more expensive than we have of the grant. So we're looking to utilize your procurement authority to award directly to Mid-Atlantic Asphalt. They came in at $99,244.01. I think there may be an error in this, math error, so I've calculated the contingency to be below that. But basically, since this is federal money, and as you may recall with the playground project over at Boyd Park, we did have some input and we changed the surfacing, we thought to, and I'm looking to potentially try to use up all of the community development block grant money because we can't transfer this outside of what would be the bounds of the project. So I'm proposing that you to utilize for you all to authorize Mr. Galloway to execute any contracts or agreements necessary in using your direct or procurement authority directly for us to directly contract with Mid-Atlantic Asphalt to redo all the courts, which will include the pickleball lines on the double tennis courts, shock absorbent material on the multi-purpose court, as well as redoing the basketball court in the amount of $99,244.01, and a contingency of $78,713 $78,713.99. One contractor noted some potential water issues. We may get some input for some other amenities. And so the contingency, I don't anticipate us using at all, but if we could to improve those surfaces or to improve the park even more within the bounds of CDBG, I'd like to be able to use as much of other people's money as possible for one of our parks. And so that is what we're proposing and asking your authority to, for Mr. Galloway to be able to execute any contracts or agreements necessary.
Council, any questions for the Public Works Director? Please.
Okay. Turn. Okay. Okay. So I do want to thank the Public Works team for continuing applying for CDBG. There was folktale before I got, when I arrived in Cheverly, that Cheverly was too rich to apply for CDBG, just based on certain perceptions. But there were certain blocks in the town that, after Mr. Director Brayman and I identified that were eligible for it, I will say that CDBG's funds have made huge impacts in building sidewalks, new roads, parks, et cetera. So we're going to continue to apply for the funds as long as they're available. If they're not available, then we can't apply for them, because we do know that there have been drastic cuts made on the federal level, but we are thankful that we continue to apply whenever they are. So just to be on the lookout, and they're predominantly in the old 4th Ward and Ward 1 across BW Parkway. So please help us identify any type of projects that you may want in your ward that we can pay with CDBG in the future. And we'll let you know if we can apply for them and what the process is. Over.
Council, any questions for the Public Works Director or the Town Administrator? Okay, is there any public input on the CDBG proposal? There's someone online. Thank you, Ms. Richards. Ann has her hand up. Are you able to speak, Ann?
Sorry, this was a store. My name is Anne Claire, Frank Cisse, Ward 6.
Yes. Hi, Ann. Do you have
Sorry,
input on the CDBG?
no, this was a store. It's hard, so maybe I'm too late.
Okay. Would you like to make a comment about the hardware proposal?
Yeah, I had actually an idea I wanted to give to the new owner. In Amsterdam, about 15 years ago, I discovered the concept of repair cafes, where volunteers show up to help people fix their appliances, their broken things, so to prevent that these get thrown away and give them a second life. And listening to her, I think this would be a great community event that could take place in this space once a month, once every other month. I'm not a fixer myself, but I think a repair cafe could be a great community event for this new Ace hardware store.
All right. Thank you for that comment. Do you want to briefly address the comment?
I'll just say I have a spreadsheet of all the different kinds of events, and Repair Cafe is already on that list. And I agree, it's a fantastic idea, and I would love to encourage folks to get involved in helping us to put together a community repair cafe. Thank you.
That's wonderful, and we can connect you directly to Ann if that would be helpful. Is there public input on the CDBG proposal? Your name, your ward, and you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, Dan Smith from Ward 1. So good news. Thanks for the work on this and the information about it. And I guess I would just ask and suggest, and I'm sure you've probably already talked about this, that if it looks like this is a possibility going forward, is there a process that the council and the community can have to identify and line up projects, to come up, prioritize, and look forward to those. And it seems in this case, I would ask, like, is the exercise trail in Boyd Park that's in great disrepair on that list? And if not, why not? And it seems like this is a good opportunity for the community, especially where they're eligible. Because I understand that there are areas of the community that are not. Same thing with the state tree planting grants. There are impacted areas that one has to go through the metrics and look online at the social impacts maps. And parts of Cheverly are eligible, parts are not. So when we're creative, we can put the money that we get from outside into those areas and use the rest of the money in that. So back to the old Fourth Ward, I would suggest this is a great way for the community there to look at the environmental projects that it would like to address. And that's great. And then, do we have any kind of a timetable? And then, I didn't catch, are you leasing or
Okay,
buying?
you're making public comments to the council. You can have an
Well,
offline
you asked
conversation.
for feedback on that. So, yes, council, if you can tell me or someone can, that would be great to know.
All right, thank you. Okay, is there any other public input on the CDBG? All right, if hearing none, council, is there a motion? There should be a motion. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to grant the town administrator the authority to execute a contract with Mid-Atlantic Asphalt for the Boyd Park resurfacing project.
Second?
In the amount of,
The full thing?
yes.
In the amount of $99,244.01 with a separate $78,716.99 contingency to allow for additional amenities and/or drainage assessment, possible installation of drainage to rectify any identified problems and community design requests within the project scope.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry. It was motioned and seconded by Vice Mayor Briner. Is there any discussion by the council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes 6-0. Mr. Brayman, LIDC, please.
Yes, thank you for the support there, Mr. Mayor. We are moving on to the Low Impact Development Center. We have a friend of the town, Emily Clifton, online. If she could be promoted, she's going to do a presentation.
I think she is.
Ms. Clifton is now the executive director of the Low Impact Development Center. So she took Neil Weinstein's place. But she's helping us out with this, and I'd like to just turn it over to her, and then when we get near the end and the proposal, the task order, I'll come back and explain a little bit more on that. Ms. Clifton?
Thank you, Mr. Brayman, and thank you all for having me here. So again, I'm Emily Clifton. I've talked with you all many times over the years. So for those of you who don't know us, for the Low Impact Development Center, we're a nonprofit based in Beltsville, Maryland. So tonight I'm here really just to provide an update on this DGS-funded watershed stabilization project in the Cheverly Gardens area, the Forest Road area in town of Cheverly, and talk through the proposed next steps. And just want to make sure real quick, you guys are okay hearing me, no problems? Okay. Sorry, this is there, okay. So I believe many of you are just aware of this area, but just to briefly make sure we're all on the same page. So this is an area, the Cheverly Garden subdivisions, that this area of Cheverly, all the stormwater in the Cheverly Garden subdivision flows out in this one point within the neighborhood over on Forest Road, goes into an outfall, and then proceeds under Route 50, 60-inch pipe. Over time, it's concentrated amount of rainwater going through the neighborhood. So it's collected and discharged, and it's caused some issues over time. So there's some